But I was thinking that Narcos Mexico, I was always curious about it because there was a Youngboy song I listened to mad times where he just said watching Narcos Mexico. And I remember thinking, like, is there a show called that? Or is he just calling Narcos Mexico because it was set in Mexico? Like, I didn't know.
Narco Mexico.
Yeah, something like that.
That seems like a NBA Youngboy.
Which, by the way,
should we just jump right into it?
free Youngboy.
For sure.
Free YB.
Isn't that crazy?
Did you hear the details of how he was arrested?
They had to send the dogs after him, chasing him around a residential neighborhood, apparently.
I love it.
He hopped out the whip, threw the blammy, allegedly.
Ooh, ran for his life.
That's in 2021. I feel like that is the most dangerous thing you can do is to try to flee from the police right now.
In a neighborhood and just hide in somebody's backyard or some shit.
Because they just have more probability to just shoot you.
If they're really coming for you, they're going to get you. The crazy thing about it is that he has a Fed case and we don't know any of the details yet.
Well, they said it's not a RICO charge.
Not yet. There was no details released.
I seen the shit before I came here. They said it's not RICO. It's
but they haven't even released the shit yet.
Are there details out there about?
I mean, I can show you afterwards, but that's what I seen. They said it's not a RICO.
Really?
Not yet, at least.
But a RICO is a very specific thing in which, like, there needs to be like a criminal organization, and that's how they charge people who are higher up in the organization, even if they weren't there for.
Charge him with like multiple gun possessions. That's what I heard. They're trying to charge him.
That at the very bare minimum is what I was assuming that this is about, just because there's been so many times where he's been caught up with ratchets in different fucking situations.
Yeah, but that's why it would be probable for them to be trying to form a RICO case against him to try to make it look like he's the one with the money, like he's the leader of some NBA gang allegedly, and like they're trying to paint him as like the head honcho of it.
Yeah, and there's like been all these fucking crazy ass murders down there and shit that like you've kind of heard that people on YouTube and shit think that so and so did this and so did that. It's kind of like only a matter of time. You don't think they've been
trying to build that up?
It's only because those cases take forever to put together, and it's like you could imagine that probably a lot of these YouTubers who don't have like the burden of having to have the full story, like the cops have to like really be able to try to make the case. Maybe it takes them years longer than it takes the YouTubers, but I mean a lot of these kind of crazy ass stories about people in the streets that we hear, I guess it's not that surprising if we then later on find out that there's like serious federal charges coming down. So I really hope that we don't have to like not have Youngboy on the streets for a few years or whatever, but when you hear federal warrant, that is really scary.
Feds, they don't play.
Yeah,
they usually have. Well, they got a 98% conviction rate and shit too, so they don't come unless they got some shit.
Yeah, unless they got some.
But he'll be home. You feel me?
Hopefully,
yeah. Definitely got to stay positive and keep his head up for his fans, and he got a lot of good people in his corner. And honestly, I don't know what fucking legal team he's had before, but the fact that he's even free. It's kind of like he was even free at all. It's like he must got the best lawyer, so yeah, they might be able to get him out the jam,
Well, it is crazy too because there's been a lot of hubbub being made about the fact that he wants off his label, and yeah, I mean I know some of the people that involved in his career and stuff, and I'm thinking like now that you have this, I'm thinking maybe you don't want to be off the label because the label. Because
those are the lawyers that got him off in the beginning, right?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, he could pay for his own lawyers too, but I mean, he hasn't been releasing music and shit because he feels like he's fully constrained by the label and he doesn't like whatever. I mean, I don't know exactly what's going on or whatever, but this always happens where dudes get to a certain point in their career and they don't want to be signed anymore. But I think once you get the Fed case, don't you want Atlantic Records on your side?
Yeah, as like a. Someone to vouch for you about how you're a stand-up person and you do this for your community.
Because I think they went hard getting him out when he was locked up for throwing that girl down in the hotel and he had all these other fucking things.
I think that those lawyers were the ones that got him on the suspended charge thing where he didn't have to go do all that time and that he was supposed to have to do or something like that,
Yeah. The more we talk about it, the worse it sounds. When I really think about all the cases he's had over the years and the fact that he was out on the streets is like, damn, now he has a Fed case.
But that's what I'm saying. They probably were letting him out all these times. Like, it just makes sense that they were letting him out all these times because they were building a bigger case.
And you just wonder, like, how much scrutiny are they really putting on him and his crew? Because it's like, if they're really deep in there paying attention. I'm just sure that there's just no shortage of shit for them to get him caught up on, dude. Like, Youngboy be moving around crazy as fuck.
Yeah, but see, it take a lot for you to form a RICO case. You got to have all type of shit before you can even, you know what I'm saying, convict when it comes down to
that. But
a
RICO case is just one type of statute that they use to prosecute
multiple people.
crime.
A group of people. Yeah.
It's like it doesn't need to necessarily be a group. It's like they could be ignoring everybody else in his crew and just saying like, you had this gun at this time and you crossed state lines with it and you did this, and who knows what kind of shit could possibly be brought up. But it just seems pretty likely that they're going to do all that and more.
It just sucks that, like, you know, you got people that come from these environments, literally reach the top pinnacle of being the #1 streamed person on YouTube, and like it seemed like he got so far away from that shit, but like, you know, like just your past either coming back to haunt you or just like the lifestyle that you used to live in, you just, you know, like it's just,
bro, that shit don't stop though. The
Yeah,
more money you get, the more problems comes, the more enemies you get. You know what I'm saying? You gotta take care of people that are not around you at home. It's all type of shit. Like that shit don't stop. And you know, he could be a nigga that said, all right, I'm not fucking with nobody no more and turned his back, but he's somebody that fuck with his community, fuck with his people and shit.
that's a
so
fact.
you know, you're gonna be involved in shit.
Post up in the house. Don't ever have nobody coming over besides your little crew of people who work for you.
but then that's
That's
when
the
people,
goal.
Yeah, but then that's when people start feeling that animosity of like,
Yeah.
oh, you fucking changed.
And
or
if you're a spicy ass human being like fucking NBA Youngboy, it's
Spicy.
like he don't want to be just in the crib all day. We see how he moves around. He wants to be in the streets. We see him in the fucking hoods and stuff. Random ass iPhone clips of him in places that everybody who see that clip is like, what the fuck is this dude doing out there? And he ain't rolling around with all kinds of crazy security and shit. So I mean, there is that dream. Like I've seen people do that. Like I've seen like Pump got famous. Pump all of a sudden was nowhere. He was in the crib, and it's like he's one person that at least realized pretty early on that he had to be really careful because cops were going to be coming for him and shit like that, and that, you know, people were going to be trying to try him. So he always moved around with security and just kept a super
he also
close distance from that shit.
he also was at the level where like he blew up fast and like had a really big #1 song to where he could afford to pay for security and shit.
Young
like that.
Youngboy's in that position too. Youngboy
Youngboy,
makes
yeah.
number
so
one
much money.
Oh, no,
number
no.
one YouTube streamer. Like
Yeah.
Stupid.
No, I wasn't
Stupid
comparing
numbers.
I wasn't comparing them. I was just saying, like, you know, some people are in like a luckier situation where like, you know.
Definitely. But I mean, that's what's super crazy when you think about it. Think about Youngboy and then think about Vaughn. Like they had issues with each other and shit, but Vaughn went out just from being out and about, like basically ending up in this situation that was basically the result of him just moving around crazy and being around different people and running up on somebody and all this shit that wouldn't have happened if he had just stayed in the crib and been mega Mr. High Security. And then you look at Youngboy, it's like he is apparently catching some kind of Fed case. Why? Because he's rolling around, not moving right in terms of like guns in certain situations. Obviously, we don't know the exact details, but both people, like Youngboy might get locked up for 10 years. We're never going to see Vaughn again. Basically both because they chose to like live somewhat as normal human beings and not just shelter themselves away.
Yeah, but that street life, you can't, you know what I'm saying? As much as you try to shake it, that shit don't really go nowhere, you know what I mean? And, you know, when you're catering to the streets and you talking for the streets and you the hope for the streets, you can't turn your back on the, and you know what I mean? And real principles, you have to instill that everywhere you go. Like, no matter what I do, I'm going to make sure that I still, there's a thin line to where I won't go and what I won't do. You know what I'm saying? I'm smarter now, but for the most part, it's just like, nah, I'm not going to cross this line. I'm not going to cross this line. And I feel like Vaughn went out, you know, sticking to his principles and shit like that. You know what I mean?
Sticking to his principles, but also when you really think about how that situation went, like he could have handled that in a much more sophisticated way. He had a bunch of armed security in the other car. He chose to walk up and start swinging on somebody that he had issues with, you know?
Nigga, when you jump off the porch, you know what it is. When you get jumped in a gang, there's a big possibility that you're gonna get life in jail or you're gonna fucking die. You know what I'm saying? And that's how the streets is fucked up. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, you to join a gang, to be like that, you're willing to be like, okay, I know that I can get killed at any time. Just like when you was talking to C-Mac, he told you, this shit ain't coming off my head. I can get killed at any time. I can get whatever. I can be gone. And those are the type of commitments that you make when you jump off the porch. You know what I'm saying? Now, when niggas get fame and they start becoming something else, you have the choice to be smarter and move a certain type of way, or you can still instill that shit. And some people, in most parts in hip hop, they amplify that shit instead of going the other way. You know what I'm saying?
I just don't like seeing people use or take the fact that they're associated with the streets or whatever and use that as their excuse to crash out. And when I say crash out, I mean to basically just torpedo their whole life, doing something that they shouldn't do, just like without a care in the world, as if jail isn't the ultimate thing that you need to be working against and trying to avoid. Like,
or dying.
All your decisions should go back. Like, and I say this as an old head that can look at a 20-year-old and think that I know better, but when I was a kid, I was not thinking about like the risk that I was taking and all these situations I was putting myself into, and I wasn't thinking about the security of making safer decisions. You know, there's a lot of things in terms of like, you know, credit card fraud shit I did back in the day that I'm like, how could you possibly have thought that was a reasonable risk to take for like $1,000 laptop, like to go in a store and do that and have your fucking face on camera and all this shit. And I, you know, when you're young, it's very, very hard to have that perspective of making decisions that will affect your life in a positive way in the long term. Like there's a cartoon I heard somebody talking about the other day, but it's like there's an old man fish and then there's a younger fish scooting by, and the old man fish just says, nice water today. And the young fish says, what water? And it's like, you think about what that means. It's like
he's not even aware.
When we look at a young kid, like an 18-year-old kid, we know all the shit around him. We see it for what it is because we all have so much life experience. But to him, a lot of these dudes do not know because they're operating from a perspective of total ignorance to what awaits them in life.
But if you think about it, right? Why do everybody get to this next level, famous level, and they want to be street or be aligned with streets? You know what I'm saying? Like hip hop has a problem with that, and every
that shit's
time,
lame, bro.
Yeah, it is. But you know, it's
and
just,
in a lot of ways, it's the same thing as like a rock star getting mega famous, having $1 million, and then he starts doing heroin.
Yeah,
you know, it's the same thing. Like your life is going great. Well, what can we do to fuck shit up and just ruin it?
And once you go down that rabbit hole of the streets, especially like, for instance, like a 6ix9ine situation, right? He could have just dropped records and just been a kid. But, you know, you align yourself with somebody, and once you cross them lines, you can't go back on that. You can't turn around and say, okay, I don't want to be this shit no more, or I can't do that. No, I'm just saying though, like for the most part, like you niggas would be like, no, nigga, we don't respect that. Like the way you come into this game is the way motherfuckers is gonna look at you. So even if somebody was to, and you know, it's crazy too. I watched $1 million worth of game, and they had Lil Yachty on there, and Lil Yachty said the easiest way for somebody to get on is basically talk about the streets and become a street rapper. You know what I mean? So these kids now, they're watching this stuff and they're looking, they're like, okay, I gotta align myself with a game to get taken serious. Cause I see people who and just in LA, like try to rap and shit, and then niggas, the first thing niggas be like, who they fuck with, where they from.
In LA, that's the biggest part.
That's the biggest shit. And then most of the time, the streets is not gonna get behind you unless you have some affiliation or some backing of some kind. So niggas get entangled with all this shit before they even come out and blow the fuck up in the first place. And then once they blow up, now that just amplifies the shit. And now these same niggas that was protecting you, these same niggas that was giving you the pass and it's all type of shit going like that.
Like I remember like 4 or 5 years ago, there was a rapper coming out in LA, and we were all fucking with him, listening to him and shit, but he was talking like crazy gun shit and everything, and like spray your block up, all this. And I remember being around some older dudes, and we're listening to him and shit, and one of them just says to me, he's like, if that dude don't click up, it's done for. As in, the streets are not gonna allow him to be out here talking all this crazy ass gun shit if he doesn't have somebody protecting him. It's gonna basically just be people pressing
Somebody
him, pressing him until, and I believe that he clicked up, and like at some point has somebody who other people would kind of default to, like, oh, I'm not gonna go fuck with this dude and try to extort this dude because so and so is a representative of him, you know?
Yeah, and you know, like even seeing shit like that, like people, bro, it's crazy. Like once you start them lines, you know what I'm saying? And then two, you have to keep that same persona. You know what I'm saying? When the fans, especially these little kids, bro, they think They look at you like a superhero. They think
You're
the
supposed to be in character
You're the
every time.
You're the craziest. You get punked. You get slapped. You get robbed. My nigga, your career is over because that illusion of what people think that you are is taken away out of their mind. And that's the only reason they listen to you in the first place.
But that's all about the energy that you put out there. Like it's like, bro, if you just be yourself, bro, it's so many people that like are not trying to be that have made successful careers, and like, you know, it's almost easier for you to move around and about because like even like someone like Lil Yachty who didn't take that route, but it's like now niggas is not really gonna try him because of who he runs with in Atlanta, and like niggas kind of know like how he move already, so it's like you can still be yourself, but you don't have to be like getting punked and be a bitch and like, you know, shit like that. But that don't necessarily mean you got to click up and be in a fucking gang or something just because. Like,
that's true. But also, like, LA is different than Atlanta in a lot of ways. But also, it's like, as an LA rapper, you can totally be a rapper and not have to ever talk to anybody in a gang, but you can't be talking about some crazy ass street shit.
You can be
either.
a nigga like Kyle, bro.
Exactly.
You got your own lane.
Super duper Kyle?
Super duper Kyle.
He's from LA? I knew he was from the West Coast.
He's from like
Santa Barbara,
Ventura or something like that. But
shout out to him though.
Yeah,
shout out Kyle. Yeah.
Shout out to Kyle.
Good guy.
But the thing is, it's like, okay, when you go that route, you don't have to worry about this street shit.
Like, you used to always hear
yeah. You know what I'm
Outkast say that. Like, Outkast could move around, and yeah, like, I mean, damn, you see Andre 3000 just doing the most regular ass shit in New York now. Like, it's
bro,
nothing.
What? I
but,
see him on Fairfax so many times doing
real?
regular shit. Yeah,
but
very
I mean,
regular.
for guys like them, like, they've just always been able to kind of move around. Like, I'm sure Yachty has you know, issues security wise. Like, I'm sure he moves around a certain way. I myself have seen Yachty pull up on me in the studio with a glizzy on him, and I was pretty amazed. Just
you were amazed by that, really?
I just didn't.
Were you really
think
amazed?
I didn't think he would have it sticking out of his pocket like that. I was just like, damn, my boy
That
is
nigga
all
need
grown
one.
up,
Bro, he got
definitely.
big ass chains, nice car.
I just would have thought it would have been the other guy over here, like somebody with
you got to
him.
keep it on him. I mean, I'm not allegedly. We don't.
That's
we
what I
not,
said. That's
you know,
alleged.
but I'm just saying, like,
But you know the same thing too. Like the Kyle route and the other route is actually the best route
It's
to
the
go.
best route you can go,
can get
bro.
Kyle can go get a fucking Disney contract, my nigga, or Nickelodeon sponsorship, bro.
See, but
fuck
look.
this street shit, my
See, but
nigga.
look.
You limiting to where your ceiling is.
now if you are just a street nigga and like that's just what you on, like I'm not saying go out of the way to go be like super duper Kyle, but like if you like, you know, like I feel like you just need to be true to yourself, and that's what will help stand out more than anything. You feel me?
But
And a lot of these niggas be confused about what they trying to put out.
Did you guys see the video of the dudes outside of Dirk's concert, and they're filming, and they're basically like, "Look at this pussy!" Like Dirk acting like you don't need security, yada
that's
yada
lame.
yada. But when you actually see the level of security that Dirk was pulling up to that show with, it lets you really realize like how dangerous it is to be rapping about the kind of shit that Dirk raps about.
I would be disappointed if Dirk didn't have security.
Oh, and
Why
not just
would-
like regular security, like not like one guy standing next to you all night. No, like there's a procession of dudes who are escorting around him, and there's a guy running next to the van as they're leaving the show. All these dudes ready to take a bullet for him. That's some serious shit.
And security is like a big flex. It's just like you're not a regular rapper no more. It's dope. Like I love to run around with a security guard or two security guards
with the big ass AR.
It's just like, hey, just
like Safari.
You know what I'm saying?
Walking around in the
you walk up to women. The women try to walk up to. Excuse me, hold on. Oh, hey, she's good. Let her through.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
That's
That's
I never
fire.
thought about that.
That
damn.
is a flex, but the level of security that Dirk was pulling up with to this show
No
in
one's-
Dallas was like, no, this is like
My
real.
nigga, Dallas is cracking. That's
Dallas
why.
is cracking.
You better have security. You go out to Dallas right now.
And it's but if you're someone like Dirk, like the way that Dirk raps, he's inviting a whole lot of energy, and he knows that, and he has to move around like that as a result.
Bro, regardless, no matter what, if I said today, I don't want to do nothing no more, I'm cool, I'm far removed from it, bro. I'm still a known figure from my neighborhood. If an enemigo has a bad day and catch me, enemigo, that's
Is that a real word?
Never heard anybody say that.
If
I
an
never heard that.
enemigo feel having a bad day and they see me, it doesn't matter if I'm far removed or not. A nigga will still take his shot.
You should do a podcast with a Mexican dude and call it enemigos, like frenemies.
That's actually stupid.
Oh fucking god! That's how. It's just crazy because like I've heard so many people say that like throughout my lifetime, and just seeing both of their faces react to like, oh, enemigo.
I never heard
It's
that.
like a crazy mixture of like Hispanic culture and.
But like the shit doesn't turn. And like I've seen guys, right, that I don't gangbang no more, right, and they
No more?
No, like they're like, oh, I'm cool. I don't want to game anymore. I don't want to fuck with the hood. And then they go to the park and they still get lit the fuck up because of that past affiliation. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter. It don't go away.
That makes no sense. If you want to be removed from the gang, why would you go to the gang hangout area still?
I'm just saying that if an enemy go see you, it's still gonna be on with you on a bad fucking day. No one's gonna say, oh, you're not from there no more. No, nigga, they still gonna smack you.
But okay, like say like when you were first blowing up as a rapper, the people who are around you, like let's just say hypothetically that before you started to blow up as a rapper, there were things that you were expected to do because you're a part of this organization. Once you start blowing up as a rapper, is it kind of seen as like, no, we're not going to go ask AD to do this?
The big homies,
he's making something of himself.
The big homies switched the focus. Now they're like this. This is the prize. This is the ticket out of the hood. This is here. We're going to put him right here, and we're going to protect this nigga. Everybody hood don't think like that, though.
But let me ask you a very big picture question. How do we make gangs and, you know, people of that ilk, how do we make them focus on improving their communities as opposed to fighting with each other?
Some shit, bro, it can't be forgiven.
It's too deep rooted.
It's too deep rooted, bro. Like,
but I know like not getting along with different neighbors is inevitable, but like it just feels like, you know, I was talking about this. I was watching like a documentary about people in fucking Ghana or the Congo or some shit, and it's like I wish that they could understand that they should be like that. The thing that is holding back their lives is their position in terms of the world. Like America is shitting on your country, but and you should not be focusing any of your effort on fighting with some guy around the corner. Like you guys are brothers, and you should be brothers in trying to make something better. And I mean, I realize I say that and like they have no fucking opportunity or like so little to work with.
Let me ask you something. Imagine somebody, and hypothetically speaking, killed your mom right now.
Listen, I get that. Yes.
Would you ever forgive that person?
No.
It takes a strong individual to do that. So there's some guys, bro, like before they're, you know what I'm saying? Before they're born, somebody from this neighborhood killed their dad, or somebody killed their mom, or somebody killed their little cousin or little sister. And that hatred just roots and it continues to go on and the cycle continues. But what it really takes is real men to stand up in the community, you feel me, and try to make it better for the people going forward. It takes real people that's willing to say, you know what, this is bigger than just, you know, the problems and stuff like that. And then unfortunately, in these communities, bro, niggas ain't thinking like that. You know what I'm saying? I know that there's certain places that I can't bring certain people. You know what I mean? No matter what. You know what I'm saying? I could say, look.
Even us?
No. There's certain people I won't bring over here because they'll be sitting there like this. How many condoms can I steal? It's just, you know what I'm saying?
Now that's a lick.
But that's the thing. It's like, you know, I can't expect everybody's mentality to be the same as mine. Luckily, I was able to elevate. I was able to travel, you know what I'm saying, see the world, and that opened up my eyes and be able to touch some money and be able to better myself. Everybody don't get them opportunities. There's some people, bro, that I know who haven't been nowhere farther than Vegas their whole life, and they're 40, 50 years old.
Even Vegas is.
That's what I'm saying.
It's a drive.
They haven't seen the world, bro. They haven't seen what it is to offer. And that small little corner, that's their life. They live for that. They die for that.